back-ish. I have been doing more stuff off cam the last couple of days, and this is Steve. This is Boris, but this is Steve, and Steve is helping me out by modeling some stuff. I have a plan, okay? This, this looks like, honestly, the garage at the minute, I look like a serial killer. Everything I'm wearing, the respirator, the throwaway little hazmat suit thing, the mannequins on the floor. I do feel like I'm the subject of a crime novel. But I'm sure that's fine. Anyways, the reason I'm panned in on Steve is because I need to put a plaster jacket on the silicone that I've dumped on him. Trust me, I have kind of a plan. So, what I've been thinking, what's been bothering me for a while, is how I was going to approach like the abdominal segments. Because as far as the foam mock-up, this is what I was dealing with originally. But the foam is way too thick, and it was going to be clunky, so I didn't want to do it out of foam. So I thought, okay, I definitely want to do fiberglass, but I don't want to have to do another plaster cast on me, blah blah blah. So I thought, okay, what if I mold the abdominal point of a mannequin, jacket that, use that mold to then make a bunch of different fiberglass copies that I can then segment, and it'll be a lot thinner. And it'll also look a lot nicer. So that's the plan. If I sound like I'm a little out of breath, it's because I am. That's just, talking in a respirator. And also, I'm still having to ration medication at the minute, which is terrible. It's awful. I don't recommend it. And it messes me up a bit. So I apologise. I'm going to be a little bit erratic because, NHS things. If you know, you know. But yeah, plaster jacket. So I'm going to mix up some plaster and whack it on Steve. I have a container. It's not going to have enough plaster in it though, so I'm going to need to use a different one. Because I'm going to have to mix up quite a lot. And doing it bit at a time is going to be annoying. So let me find a better container. I have mixing cup. At least I can fit more in a mixing cup. So I think I will use that. And then I have a new tub of plaster, because I ran the old one, which is a little bit nuts because it was a solid 5 kilograms of plaster. Well, it is what it is. Alright. Let me try and mix up some plaster. I'm going to need quite a lot. And I'll eventually be moving the camera back, so I've got fiberglassing to do as well. But this is kind of my life at the minute, is hopping between areas. Where is my stick? There it is. So I have a thing of water and a thing of plaster, and I'm just gonna periodically add more water to the thing of plaster. Because plaster just drinks water like no one's business. So I tend to just do it a bit at a time until I get the right sort of consistency. But I'm going to need a lot of plaster for this, so I'm expecting to have to do this a few times. But yeah, this is my life at the minute. Jumping between various tasks, which is fine. Saving the power tool side of things till, you know, vaguely civilized hours. The plaster is much easier to deal with in like a shallow but wide container. Because in a cup, it's like you're gonna get all the stuff along the bottom that you're just not reaching. I've no idea if that was even in frame. Kind of. Kind of. My laptop is above my head right now, so I can't follow along like I usually do. But you'll have to forgive me if I miss any messages. I am definitely not on my A game today. Or at least not yet. So I was debating whether I did this jacket in plaster or fiberglass. And in the end, I opted for plaster. Because I wanted to do plaster. That's just easier, to be honest. But I was worried about the curvature. Because obviously, Steve is not super flexible. And the fiberglass would have more flex than plaster as far as demolding everything. But I reckon if I keep it to the areas I actually want it to be, and I don't go all the way down the sides, I don't think I'll have a problem. To be honest. Okay. And I am going to just slap on what I've got. And I'm not going to have enough, so I'll just start at one side and then add more later. So long as I get a fairly decent coverage for the focal areas. Because I always do a couple of layers anyway. I'll do a reasonable initial layer. And then when I do the second layer, that's the one I mixed PVA glue in with. And then that sucker is going nowhere. The thing I find with plaster jackets as well is because you can get right in those mold keys. Like, they just fit nicer than the fiberglass ones. The fiberglass ones, it's harder to get the matting to kind of conform to such a small shape. Like, I probably have an easier time with round keys rather than square ones. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, plaster is just nicer. Nicer, quicker, less expensive, realistically. So it's my preferred. But I have to keep reminding myself not to take it down sides too far. I'm going to be giving myself grief later on. So I don't particularly want to have to cut Steve out of anything. I quite like Steve. Steve's been with me for years. God, when did I first get Steve? Because way back in the day, I'm pretty sure he will have modelled my Pariah suit armor, which I'm determined I will remake at some point. Now that I have more experience with these things. Okay. So I'd say that covered what? Not quite half, but I'd say it was more than a third. Okay. So I'll mix up about the same again, and then just rinse repeat. I stood up. Head rush. Oh no. That was a mistake. Back to the floor. Everything's fine. Right. I'm just gonna mix up more plaster over here. As far as consistency, I've been operating on what my old art teacher used to tell me. And you want to get a consistency, apparently, that's kind of like cottage cheese. That could be wildly incorrect. But that's what I operate on. So I've been assuming that's correct this whole time. Now I have no idea where this giant chopstick came from, but this is what I use to mix plaster, because, you know, big stick. If it ain't broke, you know? And I wanted to start by dealing with this, and then move on to fiberglass afterward, so that by the time I finished faffing with all the bits and bobs that I plan to mess with this morning, I should be in a position to demold all of this. And then I can add that to my list of things that I need to fiberglass. God, all of this seemed like such a good idea back when I planned it. But then I wasn't expecting to have to rush it quite as aggressively as I am. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I think I just expected to get more done sooner. And then at the time, work was a massive issue, and yes, time and my perception of not 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 so great. That's always been a thing for me. I really can't perceive the passage of time. Like yesterday, I was out here doing some stuff in the early hours as per, and a mate of mine was online, so I thought, hey, it's been a while, let's talk and catch up. And I wound up in a Discord call with him for 5 hours. I didn't realize it'd been 5 hours. Then it got to like, if it was 5 hours, it got, and I woke up an hour later than usual, so it would have been, geez, hang on. It must have been around 7 in the morning by the time he left. Must have been. Doesn't help that the clock on my laptop is not accurate to real life. I don't know why. It might just be because I can't update it. But it's functional. It does what I need it to do, so I'm sure it's fine. It's an old Alienware, and it's a model that I discovered later is known for just dying. And it did just die quite early on, so I have to leave it plugged in or it will immediately perish. And it refuses to update, so, you know, as far as, like, being vaguely secure, probably not. But then I don't have anything on this laptop anyway. It's only stream-related stuff. So, you know, as far as, like, internet security, I don't access anything from this laptop. Not even, like, emails and stuff, so, you know, what I'm saying is, it's not fine, but I choose to believe it is. The only files I've got on here are silly little emotes and stuff that I made for the stream. So there's honestly nothing of real value on there. I don't try to run any games from it or anything. I've considered, like, maybe I should add that to things that I stream, because I play games. certainly more now that I get all my work done very early in the day. It's easier to give myself a couple hours in the afternoon. Never used to get that. And I say a couple hours, that's on the higher end of the estimate. That's if I've managed to get everything else that I needed to done. But it varies. And then it makes me think, well, is it even worth streaming that if it's only a couple hours? Probably not. Probably not. And by that point, I'm usually pretty spaced out anyway. Like I'm not, I'm not particularly good this morning, but I'd be even worse by that sort of time of the day. You get a bit stuck at the bottom. I knew would happen, but oh well. Is what it is. Try and slap this down, and then look at doing the glue layer. And past that point, it should be pretty good. That should still be pretty removable, right? Yeah, probably. In fairness to this stuff, it gets very strong by the time it's all dried out. It is obscenely strong. Hopefully I won't actually need to add that much more. mainly just want to cover the mole keys, to be honest. The edges aren't too bad. Okay. Let me mix up the glue lot and focus those keys, and then readjust the camera so that it's back on the disk. Probably gonna be a fairly sort of disjointed stream, because it's at that point now where I'm sort of hopping between lots of things. So that's gonna be how this goes. I still need to get a new webcam so that I can set up another POV. Because I can't fit everything on one desk. So I've got things dotted about here, there, and everywhere. I do want to show off the armor pieces that I've primed, though. I'm reasonably pleased with them. I'm excited to paint stuff. I have to keep referring back to my notebook to see what things need my attention. It's been super important. I've been keeping like little flow charts just to see what my progress has been like. See where I'm currently at in various chains. Make another stick. I'm gonna deal with this edge up here. So it's too thin. that's a fairly decent edge. Probably be fun, but I don't particularly want to risk it. So, any bits that look a little too thin, I'm going to go over. I feel like I still need more around those edges. Annoyingly. But I gotta be sensible at this point. Otherwise it just ends up being a waste. So I'd rather over-egg it and be safe. That's been my ethos this whole time. And I'm gonna keep operating under that, because if it ain't broke. Just use up the last of the water I've got in here. Why not? Can always go get more. Yeah, I need to go get more. With... Wait, take me a second. Problem solved. Every time I kneel on the floor, I'm reminded that there's fiberglass everywhere. It's fine. Just a little bit of glass in my knees. I keep having to pick so much out of my hands, it's ridiculous. It's getting there. That seems pretty decent. Right. Again, edges are bothering me. So I will focus that. slap some more up here. Was particularly thin. Already pretty solid. And I'm thinking maybe I'll move him over next to the heater I've got running. Sucks, because now the weather's cooling off, I am so much happier. Chemicals, on the other hand. So, I'm having to run a heater. Otherwise things just aren't going to cure. That sucks. But oh well. This isn't going to sit particularly nicely when it's done, but I don't care. Not going to matter. It's actually going to be kind of nice just being able to hold something while I'm working on it. Because a lot of the shapes I've had to fiberglass have been really awkward. And comparatively, this is going to be pretty easy. Comparatively. I'm not hedging my bets. I'll trust nothing till I see it. Okay. That seems pretty fine. So I reckon I'll move the camera, close the lid on my plaster. Move that back out of the way. Thing of water I can move out of the way. Now I'm going to try and move the camera without whacking anything. To varying degrees of success. Okay. I have to drop this back down again. Oop. Alright. Cool. I'm going to have to swap the, that was it. Right, hang on. There we go. Right. That's better. Drop this down a bit. Okay. That seems better. I hope. Better than it was. I'll whack this back round. There we go. Okay. That more or less sorts all of that out. So we'll roll with that. That can then be doing its thing, and then it's going to be a lot of fiberglassing. This needs doing. This piece needs doing. I will quickly, though, give a little sneak peek of one of my primed pieces. It's the other side of this chest piece, and it is this. Don't know how well it shows up on camera, but one of the chest pieces is primed and looking pretty cool, so I'm happy with that. There are plans for this. That's pending. But yeah, that's a thing. I have my fiberglass under my desk. I prepped a bit the other day. We pin these cables out the way again. There we go. These are all quite big. I don't think they're going to be particularly helpful here. That might be okay, actually. A lot of these are going to be too big, though. That's the opposite. That's too small. That's a smaller one. Kind of want to use those bits on the edge as well. Having a straight edge is actually pretty nice. They're all smaller bits. That's a micro piece. Okay. Not too bad, but I'm definitely going to need more. And I made a bunch in here. There we go, okay. I tore up a load of strips the other day. So I'm going to make a few more small pieces because it's going to work out better than the bigger pieces, to be honest. So these weird complex shapes just make sense. And I'll separate the edge pieces for now. That should be fine. So I'm going to BRB real quick, sort some stuff out in the background, and then I will come back and I will contend with all of this. So bear with me for a bit. was I? Around here somewhere, I guess. So, I'm going to mix up some chemicals. I've already put talc in both molds, so that's fine. Grab one of these suckers. So I'm gonna need gel coat, pigment, sticks, and the scales that I keep moaning about and then not fixing. Standard affair at this point. So I believe it was 10 to 1, right? Yeah, okay. So the pigment's a 10% jobby. So gel coat, if I did 100, or was I going to do 50 because I found 100 was too much last time? Trying to remember. I feel like it was 50 that I was going to aim for this time because 100 was too much. Pretty sure. Yeah, and then I just used a capsule of talc. Fairly confident. I always say to myself, I should, I should write this down as I remember it. And then I just, proceed to not do that. Ah, well, sure, that's fine. I'm fairly sure. Last time I did 100, it was too much by a long way. So I said, okay, next time I'll do half. Pretty sure that's how that conversation went. So I'm going to operate under that. This tin is very sticky. Got it. Right, let me do 50. I'm going to do 50 grams of gel coat, then 5 grams of pigment, and I've been using like a little lid as a scoop for talc. Last time I put 2 lids in for the 100, so I'll just put 1 lid in this time for the 50. At 43? Yeah, 43. Okay. Yeah, the screen on the scales keeps going dark on me. It's really irritating. $47, $48, $49, $50. Awesome. Right. Get rid of that stick, and I'll get a new stick. So that's exactly 50. Good for me. God. This is fairly brutal. I've been doing nothing but fiberglass for actually months at this point. Still been a little bit nuts. It was fun in the beginning. Now I'm actually sick of it. I want to get onto painting stuff, but I need to have all the pieces first, because I want to make sure all the colours are consistent. Right. That's 50. I want to do 5 grams of pigment. We'll take another stick. Everything's cold as well, which isn't helping. I'll give it a good mix first. Get it all over my hands, but oh well. That's already 5. Fair enough. At least I can use the same stick for mixing it. Put the lid back on. Hands are covered in muck. Oh well. I started off determined that I was going to stay pretty clean. I gave up on that months ago. I was going to say weeks, but no months. Definitely months. That's that whole perception of time thing again. Even in the midst of all this, I'm looking at it like, this wasn't that hard to do. Okay, but it takes a long time. Always dangerous. But I feel like that's also something that comes with being a creative, is you always, like, you'll suffer through stuff and then go, nah, it wasn't that bad, it's fine. Kind of like a weird mad scientist sort of complex. Alright. That then makes it up to 58. So, catalyst is 1%. Actually, it says 59. So if I made it 60, I'm not going to be able to measure this. I'm just going to make it up. Got it. Let me mix it first. So then I've combined pigment, talc, and shell coat. And then, as far as catalyst, it would usually be 1 or 2 grams for 100. So if I do 2, that's going to be shed loads. Why is it refusing to register again? There we go. Okay, 2. Right. And I'm going to very carefully mix that together, because catalyst is watery, and I'm not splashing anything. No way, no how. And then, hopefully, I've got enough gel coat to do the chest piece and the other mold that I've got sat there. Hopefully, because there's a lot of catalyst in here, I won't have to wait too long before I can work with it all. Right. I'm gonna need a brush though. Let's use this one. I want to shove it all up in these corners, because they're the hard bits to reach. Just gonna whack a load on here. I'll smush it round in a second. Right. I'm gonna prioritize this mold. If I have enough left over for that piece, then awesome. If I don't, then meh. There will be opportunities to do more later. This is the most important bit of the minute. I need to set a calendar reminder as well to change my filters out in a few days' time. By that point, it will have hit the 6-month mark. And you're supposed to change them out. So I'm going to. So I care about the functionality of my lungs. So, you know. Whack some more in here. Should have enough to do that other piece as well, I reckon. From the looks of things. I think 50 was a good shout. not bad. I definitely have a shed load of catalyst in that because it's already quite sticky. Which is good. Let me whack some in this as well. Try not to rip my gloves on the weird little sharp bits on the plaster. That's way too much, but oh well. Those little gaps don't matter because I'll be cutting those off anyway. I'll try and even that up a little bit. Then leave that to kind of run into those upper edges. Because they tend to be the bits that need it. The areas where gravity is kind of deciding the flow. That's pretty okay looking. I'll leave that over there for a second. Have another look up in here. It's those little edges that are going to be my undoing. But from what I can see, actually, looking pretty okay. I'm not seeing any bald spots particularly. There are a couple of little patches where it separates, but they're quite easy to clock. Couple of bits up there. Little bit in there. Apologise for my head being in the way. I gotta try and see what's up. Looks pretty okay, to be honest. So, I'm gonna have to leave that to get tacky. My gloves are sticky, but whatevs, to be honest. Not super phased. Right, I'll leave that for a bit. in the meantime, that brush just becomes sacrificial, to be honest. Don't have any other molds that I can take at the minute, annoyingly. Otherwise I could use it. Yeah, no, the plasters definitely no. No, that would be dumb of me. I need to not be myself with this one, to be honest. So, in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is have a look at some mold release on a couple of other pieces that I've got just chilling. Just debating whether I change my gloves. Kind of depends how long this takes to go off, because I don't think it's going to take long at all. I dumped a lot of catalyst in there. Kind of, sort of by accident-ish. A little patch in there I want to fix. And up there. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna be waiting for that for a while. So, given that that's gonna be a thing, I'll swap my gloves out and I'll deal with some silicone for a bit. Right. So I've got to stick some mold release on this sucker. I've already waxed it, but I'm going to stick some of this on there as well. Where is the thing I usually use for this? It's here. Okay. This is what I mean about juggling stuff. Just a tiny bit. And I'll give that a little bit to dry off. Always gets stuck on the underside as well, so I'm just going to whack a little bit on there too. As far as the clay, that keeps getting caught in anyway. Not that fast. Good enough. Then I have another piece to work on as well. But I want to wax it first. One of the back panels, one of the spine pieces. It actually looks really cool. I like how this one came out. So, let me clean up the rest of this real quick. It's weird. Like, the more I'm getting done with this project, the more I'm kind of seeing like progress. The more real it's becoming, the more I'm kind of feeling like, yeah, this is gonna be good. I'm starting to appreciate stuff. I've just been, for ages, I've just been looking at stuff like, oh my god, I have so much to do. Which remains the case. But I'm starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, this whole project, like, every time I make something, I always say that my aim is to do something new, try something new materials, new processes. But this project was ridiculous. Even by my standards, this has been completely insane. But starting to see an end to everything. I've still got to write up my build book properly. Gonna have to condense it down a lot. At the minute, it's gonna be too long. I've got so many pictures that I'm not gonna use, but whatever. There's just so much that's gone into this project. It's ridiculous. And now that I'm starting to see, like, you know, the spine plates, the things that are more or less the final pieces, I'm starting to kind of see how everything comes together, and that's crazy exciting. I'm gonna have to leave that to phase out before I add any of that other mold relay. Gonna stick this on the floor to make sure the lid's back on properly. Set that off to one side for a bit. And I'm gonna have to keep checking on this because there was a lot of catalyst in here. Yeah, no, definitely not yet. Fair comp. Didn't think it would be, but just in case. Right. So let me deal with some silicone for this. Cups. Cups. But it has to be warm in here. So upsetting. I could be vibing right now. But instead, I am gross and sweaty. Such a shame. Okay, I'm not going to need much of this at all. And I'm just going to have to keep picking it back up and dumping it back down again. It's just going to run everywhere. So thick stuff is going to be the most important bit with this. So I'll do a bit. A bit more, I think. Now these aren't measuring cups. I've resorted to cost cutting, and because silicone's one of those things that, like, just eyeballing isn't the end of the world. Like, that's just kind of been what I'm doing now. So, you know, cheaper cups. I've been saving the measuring cups for resin, because resin is more consequential. Sticks. Sticks. And then as per, I'm going to mix this carefully and away from my face, because chemical splashing just freaks me out. I shall be risking nothing. Splashing is no longer a risk, so fine. I can start staring at this again. As I say, it's only a tiny bit because I literally just need this. There's going to be a lot of juggling this morning because I've got to do the silicone on this. I've got to do some polyfiller on another piece. I've got to finish the mold release on the other spine panel. So, yeah. This is kind of peak cosplayer stuff. Especially in, like, con crunch terms. I mean, you should always be juggling tasks. That's just good practice. But it's real prevalent as time continues to march on. And I keep looking at the date and going, no, 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 please no. And anyone who actually knows what they're doing with silicone, please don't cry. I know I'm being pretty slapdash with this. I apologize. Bad practice, 100%. But it's really not going to matter a whole bunch for this piece. I just want to get some coverage in and on. To clarify, I should be doing something like this and just hovering around the middle and allowing it to kind of stretch out into a long stream, because that then pops all the air bubbles. And if it's in the middle, it'll eventually spread out to the sides. That's good practice. I'm too busy for that. And as I say, it's really not going to matter for this piece. It's such a small piece. I don't want to dump it all on at once because it will just pool. I'm going to do it anyway, but the weight of it is just going to pool faster, so dumping a bit up here as well, because having an edge is handy. I don't need it past this ridge anyway. But, you know, I'm going to try and keep a vague eye on the time, because I need to make sure I've left that wax for long enough to do what it needs to. I reckon if I check it in sort of 9 minutes or so. Not that I know what I'm looking for particularly, but that's future me stuff, don't worry about it. There's a little bit left in here, so I'm not going to dump it on yet, because it will just run off. There's not a lot of point. Now, there were other pieces I needed to work on. That was it was the polyfiller. Polyfiller for this. So, I'm going to move this off to one side. I'm going to have to keep staring at it though, because the silicone is threatening to run off in all sorts of directions. Not that silicone's that bad, because you just wait for it to cure and scrape it off. It's easy enough. Keep a casual eye on that. But I've also got this back panel. So the spine panel goes under this. This goes over. I was dremeling this yesterday, and this central design was realistically too complicated. For the size of the Dremel bit that I've been using for all the engraving, it just ended up really dodgy. So I'm going to polyfiller over it, and then I'm going to sculpt it instead and have it stand up and away. It's just going to look a lot better. So yeah, that's also on my list. As I hope gel coat, still too liquid as expected. Just wandering off to dump silicone that's stripped off back on top. And then I'm going to find my polyfiller board. It's kind of too big though. Do I have a smaller board? Or do I just mix it up on another surface? No, I need a smaller board. Maybe I just use a block of wood for this. Not like I need much anyway. Just going to end up making a mess. I know I am. I don't think I've got any boards that are smaller though. What other boards? Must have something somewhere. Ooh, unless... That'll probably work. The lid. I use a lid. Polyfiller is up here. Probably going to go everywhere as soon as I tip it. Not too bad, actually. New. Water I've got here. Where's my little palette knife? There we go. Don't want to dump too much water in here, but I feel like I'm gonna by accident. See how that goes. Whack this down. More or less erase that. It also ended up looking kind of wonky, and that was bothering me. Basically just gonna redo it. Because I've come too far to settle at this point. I've been try-harding this entire time. I'm going to continue to try hard. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to texture this at the same time as filling it. Because it's kind of going to be hard to tell whether I've filled the right gaps. If I do. So I think I'm just gonna make sure everything's filled properly, and then handle texturing it later. Not that it necessarily matters that much. Actually, yeah, it's probably fine. Probably fine. He says as he tears a chunk off by accident. Yeah. That's the thing. Because it was so kind of close together, there were a bunch of pieces that just kept kind of chipping and falling off. So I'm going to fix that. That's probably good enough for now. And then I'll continue fixing it in another layer. I'm just going to keep pulling chunks out if I'm not careful. So I'll leave that for now, but just fills that in. Then come back over and babysit some more silicone, because it is threatening to leave the board it's sat on, which is to be expected. But that's whatever. dump that on there. I'll come back to the rest of it later. Now at this point, I'm thinking I can probably get away with buffing this out. Yeah, okay. I'm going to stick PVA mode release. And where do I put the rest of this polyfiller? I'll put it over here for now. I'm sure this is fine. Right. So whack some of this on here. And I think I'm going to put some silicone over it on top of the cup. So that's something I'll deal with in a minute. Oops. It really doesn't need much. Cool, okay. I'm going to leave this back over by the heater. Right. I'm starting to see the numbers. Fine, everything is fine. Then at this point, I've got the plaster jacket. Oops. Plaster jacket on the abs done. I've got the gel coat on the middle crotch piece and the second chest piece. I've got silicone on the third crotch piece and mold release on the lower spine piece. Polyfiller on the upper spine piece. Good God. Okay. That's a lot of components. I'm going to poke this and see what the sitch is. Still too liquid, I think. Don't think it's quite ready yet. Picking up and dumping more silicone. Because if I have enough left to do the spine piece as well, that would be awesome. Play as well. I'm speech jamming myself with Spotify. Right. So, I want to put this like that, basically. That's what I'm thinking. So, I reckon I put some tape on the back of this and stick that on there like that. Oh yeah, okay, that works. But I'm going to need to have this sat on another board because silicone is going to go absolutely everywhere. Do I have another board? I do, but is it too big? Probably. Let me move Steve so that I can look for other boards. I'm going to put Steve down here for a bit. Next to the heater. sure that's fine. What other boards have I got? None of those are going to help me though. What I might do is use this one. At least it'll be easy to scrape it all off. So, actually, I can tape it, right? Yeah. I'm going to tape the cup to the board. Not going to need to be that big. Do that. Ooh. No, don't do that. Right. Right. Down here somewhere. No, further down. Down there somewhere. Yeah, okay. Do that. Ah, no, don't do that. That's annoying. Trust me, I'm a professional. I know exactly what I'm doing. Cool. Okay. Then I can just dump silicone on top of that, and it's probably going to be fine. I'm going to have to give it a minute to dry though. But I'll be able to use the rest of the silicone that I've got mixed up here, so that's nice. I hate wasting stuff. So I won't have to, and that's awesome. Okay. Water I don't need anymore because I have done the polyfiller. That's fine. I'm going to leave the plaster for a bit longer before I start messing with that. That seems dry enough. I'm sure that's fine. So let me see. Let me see if I can dump some more silicone into this. Is it dry enough? Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Whack this on here. And this should move nice and slow because I mixed it up a while ago now. So I shouldn't be having to chase this too much. I mean, I'll have to chase it, but shouldn't be as bad as it would otherwise be. Oh no. My stick. My stick is sticky. So lame. Alright. Not much left to scavenge from the cup. And now I'm gonna just be juggling between the two, I think. Yeah, pretty much. Steal some of the excess from the other one to make sure that these bits end up covered. Ooh. And make sure that nothing's overflowing on the other one. Keeps trying, but I'm catching it. And I need to make sure I've got a brush sorted for fiberglassing the main piece. Well, main pieces, I should say. That sorts that out. Just want to make sure I've covered everything with an initial layer. Because you can finesse everything with a thicker layer. But the detail layer needs to be in place first. Okay. Cool, cool. Right. I'm now going to have to try and find a way of having the silicone things together and out of the way. I'll move them over here. Okay. And then have both the silicone pieces fill in next to one another. Where I can keep a very casual eye on things. Then I'm going to poke gel coat and see what the dealio is with that. That piece I still have to faff with, so I'll move it out of the way for now. That is my hoodie, that can go not here. Trying to find spaces to be. Then you've got numerous pieces on the go. Let's put this one up here. Gonna have to keep a close eye on that one, because it will totally run off the board if I don't. I'm gonna preempt it and try and scoop up a bunch and dump it further back. I might have to stand this sideways actually, otherwise it's so gonna run off the edge. Just take my word for it. I know the camera's so not helpful being fixed in the way that it is. It's annoying. I kind of need cams at like every one of my weird pseudo workstations. It's on my to-do list. Rig something up so that everything is visible. But then I have like, what? A main workstation, 4 workstations. Don't really want to have 4 different cameras. Then I mostly use 3, I suppose. Still annoying. Right, let me poke this and see what the deal is. Still seems to... Yeah, that's too wet still. What about this? Yeah. I'm gonna say not yet. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say not yet. So what else can I do in the meantime? I suppose I could go through my list. See what kind of progress I've made as far as my flowcharts and stuff. Still debating whether the plaster is in a good enough position for me to demold things, but probably not. I don't want to be impatient with it. Would be dumb. Let me see. Does it feel damp? Not really. I wonder. I wonder if I can demold this. Let me grab Steve. I can at least cut the excess silicone around him with my good scissors. Not what we don't need. A fair whack, in fairness. Ah, I can change the bin liner. That's the thing I can do. That makes sense. That's a good use of my time. I'm going to be picking glass out my knees for a long time after this. All that away. There. Well, that tidies that up. Ugh, so warm in here. I hate it. But nothing's going to cure if it isn't, so I don't have a choice. Let me sort this bin liner out. Leave that over there for now. Grab me another bin liner. And then I think I might faff with trying to demold Steve. I just might. What is the time? Oh, nearly 5. Jeez. Right. Bin liner replaced. Now, can I just slide this off? Because I feel like I probably can. It's annoying because I would move the camera, but I'm going to have to move it back real soon after. Let me just tentatively... Oh, yeah, this will work. Okay. I might have to get a palette knife in and under. doable. Yeah, it's doable. Let me take a palette knife to this. Main thing is I don't want to bust up the silicone. This is where I start to look at it like, Fibreglass might have been a smarter play. Just because it is very strong. I'm hoping that means it comes off in a 1-up. Okay, I can feel it moving. Definitely thinking about it. Yeah, okay. It's doing the thing, I can feel that it's doing the thing. I'm gonna end up pulling it straight toward my face. I can see it before it even happens. I'm going to whack myself in the face with this. 100%. I can see you moving, come on. I know you want to. I can see it, I can feel it. Feel it in my bones. How's this doing? That's still lifting, so not yet. I make sure I'm not getting in. Okay. There we go, right. So it's in 2 pieces, whatever. I can join them together, it doesn't matter. Right. And I can free Steve. Free my man Steve. Then, with any luck, I can use that. Kind of planning to just tape it together, to be honest. Don't think it's gonna matter. Might be easier to see what I'm doing up on a surface. Okay. Right. I'm now going to attempt to tape that mold together. I think it'll work. I keep going to hum what I'm listening to. Driving me nuts. I want to sing along, but I can't. Sucks. How do I position you without having to hold you? Something like that, I guess. If I tape it from one side, I can use it with more plaster and glue on the other side. And it shouldn't matter. Tape it off already. That's fine. Don't know why I thought it would, but you know. It is what it is. I lean this on something. I'm running out of work surface. I'm gonna have to do this on the floor. Let me see. How can I position this? I keep thinking, do I just put it in a vise? Oh, it'll crack. Can't do that. Maybe it'd be easier if I stand it upright. Actually, that's not bad. Okay, that actually kind of works. So if I get some clothes pegs, I can hold it together while I use it. This is ridiculous. Kind of love it though. This is categorically very silly. That's where that one wants to be. Oh, that fell off. Trying to figure out the best way of orienting these pieces so I can glue them back together. Because I'm not going to be able to just hold it. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ha, 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 ha. Okay. Found a way that holds. Awesome. Alright. Now I gotta try and fuse them back together again. I've still got some polyfill actually. Oh, I stood up too quick. Oh, that was a mistake. Mistakes are being made this morning. Oh, this is such a manic stream. I'm probably gonna have to mess with this soon. Let me deal with this, and then I'll do that. I need Steve back in my bedroom because he has a suit of armor that's usually sat on him. And it's had nowhere to be other than my floor. That's been annoying me. How much glue am I going to want for this? Not too much. That bit's no good to anyone. Glue and polyfiller, I'm sure that is a perfectly logical combination. This is either going to work or it's not. I'm not super phased either way. Alright. Let me attempt to plug this gap. Needs to be... No, it fell apart. Oh, I'm doing so well. Alright, let's try this again. Ah, come on. I was doing so well. I decided I wanted to do better. That's very on brand. Good enough. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. Right, that then is not a terrible start. I'll have to come back to it to do more, but kind of more interested in the fiberglassing at the minute. Fix this later. And I've got silicone that I need to dump back on these over here. I'll deal with that first. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, right. Fine, I just kicked the thing that was on the floor. Yeah, this is a bit of a mad one, to be honest. I've got too much going on in too many different places. And it's actually carnage. I feel like I kind of need to have, the self-checkouts at supermarkets have like the lights above them. I feel like I need one of those at each workstation. And as time goes by, they change from being green to orange to red, as in like, hey, pay attention to me, please. I keep forgetting what I've got on the go. That's not going to hold, right? I'm going to deal with the plaster later. Plaster is scuffed, I'll deal with it later. For now, that is a future me problem. Go out the way. Time. Because I need to double glove to deal with this. This is more important. It's hot in here, I'm angry about it. Actually, I can probably turn that off now. I'm going to turn the heater off, because it was mostly so that the gel coat doesn't take 1,000 years to do what it needs to. Right. Brush. Don't really want to use the nice brushes, but also kind of have an easier time if I do. So, I don't need the stick. Go away. Right. Let me mix up some resin. Yeah. Okay. Get rid of that one. I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to do 100. Because knowing my luck, it will catalyze quicker than I want it to. So, a little bit at a time. I'll take 99. It's pretty good. Why did I bring the brush over here? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let me mix this up for a second, and then I'm just going to get on with it. Alright. Let's give this a go. Gonna focus on those edges because they're always a problem. Just gonna try and be really careful with that. Get it pushed into all the corners. That's the biggest problem I've been having. And then I'm going to be really strict with myself. And literally do it one layer at a time. Because it's going to pull away from the edges if I don't do it like that. Alright. I can probably do a long piece there, to be honest. Periodically looking over to the silicone just to make sure it's not running off the bench. See why these sorts of things take, like, an entire team of people. I'm understanding that now. That's not too bad. Gravity is going to be a complete tool for this straight up vertical. So I'm inclined to not take things too high up there for now. Because that is 100% going to suck. Get away with the thick a bit. Do this. trying not to get this caught on the jacket, because this makes everything harder to separate later. Not the end of the world, but it's just annoying. I can avoid it. I would rather, to be honest. Right, this vertical gonna suck. So what I might do is work on this for a second, because that resin is catalyzing. So let me do the small piece. And what piece do I want to use for you? I'll just use small bits. Screw it. Silicone definitely needs my attention, but it's not immediate. So I'm sure that's fine. This cover is great. Who did this? Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. I wish music could be a thing on streams. I really do. That's good enough for now. I'm gonna leave it somewhere out the way, so I'm not tempted to faff with it. And while I'm over here, I'm going to pick up some silicone and dump it back on some stuff. The resin is the bigger concern for me though. So I'm gonna come back and deal with that. That's gonna go off way quicker. Way quicker. I'll try and deal with the bits that I can see. Because, oh god, okay, yeah, this is curing much too quickly. I'll try and get a small bit up there. I can't trust that I've got time to deal with a bigger bit. I suppose on the plus side, it should mean I'm not having to wait so long to do the next layer. God, it's so hot in here now. Sucks. Cracks, I'm concentrating. The edges. The edges are important. Bleeds the edge around the moon on the front. I'm gonna Dremel it, but even so, need to be vaguely careful. What's the daylight situation like outside? Ah, doesn't exist. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna mess with some of the silicone while I'm over here. Quickly as I can. Because again, the resin is reaching that point where it's just unusable. Don't really want to have to fight gravity with it. gravity is going to be the kicker here, for sure. I think if I can just get some resin in, that's going to help things stay where I want them to. I want to try and take another smaller bit. It might be a bit big, but we'll see. Try and use up the last of this to get this to stay where I want it. It's going to be tricky. The edges are what matters on that moon, not the flat back of it. So I'm cutting that out. So I don't care how that bit ends up looking, as long as it clings to the edges I need it to. The rest is honestly just kind of whatever. But the moon as a shape is going to be really awkward, because it's got that really fine point on it. Getting stuff to conform to that is going to suck. Already sucking. I can't let it cure in a weird shape, or it's going to mess with how it comes out. Might have to do like micro pieces just to make sure that curve's not screwy. I'm also totally going to have to set up a fan because I am burning. Alright. I'm going to dump the rest of the resin on here. whack the rest of this. There. That's where I'll be going next with all of this anyway. Just trying to reinforce those edges a little bit. I'm going to have to give that a while before I can do anything else. So, I'm going to try and mix up slightly less, just because I want to get something done with that. Get rid of this cup because it's sticky, and that's going to get annoying. So, we do, what, 50 maybe? Exactly 50, nice. And then an amount of catalyst that I just have to guess. That's definitely too much. Oh well. Just want to get something in this bit up here. It'll be easier to faff with smaller bits. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna suck. I wonder if I can half it. Just because getting it to go around that moon is gonna be horrendous. Don't really want to have to do that. I'd much rather not. This is not best practice. Oh well. At least I'm able to get something in. Don't fall, please. I'm probably going to have to leave this for a while after this first layer because of how complicated the shapes are. Just going to end up dragging stuff off again if I don't leave it. I don't know though, maybe this side's not a bad shout. It's going to be safer to wait. I'll be sensible. Albeit reluctantly. Just too complex a shape to pass with in one hit. So I can probably get another layer in small mold. I need these bits to not stick to each other though. Yeah. Out the way, dang it. Right, that's not the worst. Not the best, but it's not the worst. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can put another one onto the other mold. These strands off my gloves while I'm at it. drag this sucker. Don't want to drag anything off, right? One of these or one of these. Go with this. My hands are too sticky for this. Oh well. I wonder how the polyfill is doing. Let me try. Slide this in here. There's a lot of resin ending up on plaster here. That's going to be annoying when I'm demolding it later. Fine. Future me problem. No. That's better than not. Okay, so now there are 2 layers in this one, which should honestly be fine. See that edge coming away, don't you dare. You're a simple shape, dang it. Start acting like one. Might as well whack a bunch more of this in here. Hopefully that will stop it peeling away. That realistically should be all that this mold actually needs. Don't want to put any more resin in the other one. I don't want to make it too heavy. This isn't going to matter. This is like one of the groin pieces, so I'm not particularly phased on how heavy it is. Really not going to matter. Right. I'll leave this somewhere. Let's see what the sitch is with all of this. I need to change my gloves regardless. Do that. I don't want to mix up any more resin until this has cured a bit more. If I start dragging stuff off, I'm going to be really peeved. The main thing is it looks to be reasonably up in the edges, corners, etc. Get rid of this. Need to change these gloves out as well because there are holes in them. Of course there are. Hands are disgustingly sweaty. Grim. Right. What else am I dealing with at the minute? Silicone is still a thing that I have to keep babysitting. Fine. Time is currently around 5:30. Fine. I want to fix that plaster jacket. I've got this, which I can basically just use as is, to be honest. Let me scoop up some of the silicone that's over here. Right. Where am I at? What am I doing? This is going to take a while. I wonder if it's a simple case of I continue to use Steve and just fix this on him. I feel like it's gonna drag. Yeah, it's gonna drag. Okay. That's annoying. It would have made sense, but alas. Maybe if I assemble it back here somewhere. It needs to be somewhere I'm not gonna thread on it by accident. That kind of limits my options, because I'm so gonna thread on it. I'm debating whether I just, like, actually glue this. I don't know if it can work. In fairness, if my glue gun was out here, I would probably just hot glue it. Can I hold this with anything? Kind of. Swear this is kind of working. still debating whether I hot glue this, because that seems logical enough. Where are those pegs? I don't have a plug socket that's going to reach down here, though. Annoyingly. Yeah, that's the one. I wonder if I can get... No, that didn't work. Cool. Again, without cameras everywhere, just, I kind of can't explain my nonsense particularly. So, sorry to be annoying. I've kind of assembled that, so I'm wondering... There's an extension lead there, so I might do that. Ah, I stood up too quick. Uh-oh. Cool, everything's black. I'm sure that's fine. Right, how long have I been going for? Because I still have to leave a load of this for a while before I can do anything else. The silicone I'm going to have to leave... Did I just see a flash? Sure, that's fine. As long as it's not any of my electrical equipment, I'm not that fast. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to wait for a while. So I think I may have to call it here. Because it's going to take at least half an hour before I can do anything else. Minimum. So, yeah. Oh, my chat's not been working, but it has been working. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I now see that it's not working. God, that's so annoying. Wow, I'm a professional. Hey! Yeah, I can finally see. I switched to another tab. I'm sorry, I didn't realize chat was actually going. It's just broken. Amazing. You are more than entitled to make fun of me. Please do. I deserve all of that. Damn technology. God, that sucks. I'm gonna have to try and fix that. I have no idea how. It's okay. Ah. Well, thank you for being around despite the fact I have literally not spoken to you this whole time. God, that sucks. That sucks so much. How long have you been here? Because if you've been here this whole time, I'm so sorry. It was funny. I'm glad you think so, but I am low-key mortified. Nah, screw it. I'm high-key mortified. God, I hate technology. 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, that's not so bad. Because on this screen, I can't even tell how long I've been running for. Like, everything else on the screen is broken other than chat. So I've been in a different tab where everything else seems to be working other than chat. Don't feel bad, it was funny. I'm glad you think so, because I definitely don't. Oh, jeez. That sucks. So annoying. I need to try and clean this brush out before it goes solid. Can I see the backlog of text? Yes. Yes, I can, and that's why I'm horrified. That's already going solid. Damn it! This is not my morning. Really not my morning. Ow, there's glass in my hand. Okay. I don't know how that even happened. Don't know. Oh, sorry. I'm the one that sucks. Gee. Take a break and eat some food? Maybe. Maybe. Gotta clean this brush out first, because it will just end up as a brick if I don't. And I quite like these brushes. I'd rather I didn't ruin them. I'll come back to look at chat in a second. I just had to go acetone this brush. Let me find the cloth that I use for this. Have I eaten or drinking anything? What? So, yeah? A while ago. I had a drink before I started streaming. But I don't know how long I've been here for because my screen is broken. Yeah, well. 3 hours. Oh, okay. Okay. That's fine. I thought I'd been here longer than that. So that's actually not so bad. God, this brush is a mess. At least it won't go solid, or it shouldn't do. Because I'll need to use it for another layer later, so I need to stop it from dying. That's probably fine. Not good for an old man to go so long. Yeah, well, the kids these days, you know, they're built different. Back in my day, we had to go find a well and dig for our own water. We didn't have these fancy taps, these newfangled kitchens. I'm trying to think how long ago that would have actually been. Like, what generation was the well generation? Because my granddad always jokes about it, but it's not true. Yeah, I am ancient. Ancient confirmed. You're not wrong. I'm never going to beat the allegations, so I'm going to accept it at this point. You know, back in my day, we didn't have smartphones. We had Blackberries. That was our equivalent. And even then, I didn't have one. I had an old Nokia. It's like a brick. I remember I was in school one day, and some of my classmates saw the absolute state of my phone, and I was actually pretty proud of it. and I'd said it's a Nokia. They're indestructible. I shouldn't have said that. So obviously, my classmates took it in turns trying to break my phone. Fortunately, it was still a Nokia, so they couldn't do it. Yeah, it was a weapon. It was a weapon, and it survived being thrown onto concrete, being sat on with a chair leg, and I had dropped it in the bath. It was fine. I left it out in a tent in the rain. It was fine. I still have it somewhere. Famous last words? Yeah. Yeah. Typically, that would be true. But fortunately, the Nokia was still a Nokia, so it survived. It shouldn't have done, but it did. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone abused this thing. You gotta push life to the limit, you know. See how far you can get with stuff. Except for like skydiving. Don't don't do anything reckless with that. I'm talking about things that are, you know, at least vaguely safe. Yeah, pretty much. Don't risk your well-being, basically. That's the short version. Push life to the limits. The sensible limits. The non-lethal limits. Those are fine. Where's the fun in that? I think I have more fun with my feet firmly on concrete than I would many, many feet in the air about to jump out of a plane. So, have your meds been helping? When I'm able to take them, yeah. But at the minute, I'm having to leave like 2 days in between at the minute so I don't completely run out. No grass. Hey, don't call me out like that, okay? That's too real. That's way too real. How dare you? I can't defend myself. Got him. Yeah, yeah. No touch grass, you sandwich. What are you, Gordon Ramsay? That's a very British insult. Next, you'll be telling me to go make myself a cup of tea. Piece of buttered bread. Good grief. This is this is getting scandalous. I have to put an age rating on my streams. Don't know if my little old man heart can take it. You don't like tea, you slightly wet rock. Jeez. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to this. I got nothing. So anyway, I'll probably have to duck out soon, to be fair. I'm running out of stuff that I can actually do. I challenge you to touch grass and post it online. You know what? If I remember, that's that's quite funny. I might do that. If I don't forget, then I'll put it on my Insta story with no context. It's funnier if I don't explain myself. I see me struggle. I'm glad. I'm glad because there's plenty of that. Don't worry about the chat. Ah, it's annoying. I'll have to mess around with OBS and try and fix it. Don't know what happened there. But thanks for hanging around anyway. Just never letting you live it down. That's completely valid. I will take that. 110%. I will own that. That is fair. But thanks for hanging out anyway. You got more resilience than me. I see you do your goblin thing. Oh god, yeah. Goblin is the descriptor. That is what this is. 100%. Hopefully, the next time I stream stuff, I'll actually have more interesting things to show. I'm nearly done with all the fiberglass pieces, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm just really struggling through it. But progress is progress. See you later. Gonna make a spot of tea and do some art, maybe play a game. Sounds awesome. You have fun with that. Have fun with your tinted water. You're doing great. Thanks. I'll get there. I'll get there. Just having to wait around for a lot of stuff, that's all. Don't give up, lovely chatting. Thanks. I appreciate it, I really do. And I'll catch you in a bit. Don't come after me, Bean Boy. Yo. Outrageous. Utterly savage. How do I come back from this? I'll never recover. See you later. Yeah, catch you in a bit. Thanks for hanging out. Always nice to chat, even if my chat box on stream is broken. So I'll go peace out and fix that, I guess. And yeah, I'll be back again at some point with hopefully more interesting stuff to show. That's the ideal. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Good luck. Bye. Thanks. I'll catch you in a bit. So have a good one. And yeah, laters.